What's up, Packers fans? Welcome back to another week of Beer and Ball. We're drinking beer, we're talking football. Myself, Aaron Nagler from Cheesehead TV, and of course, Billy Schmid from 97.3 The Game. After a disheartening loss to the New
Good
York
way to put it.
Jets, the Green Bay Packers, overly hospitable in the somewhat too friendly confines of Lambeau Field. Bill, the hell, man? What happened?
Amen. Nags, good to be with you, man. There's
Salute.
so many different things that we could parse through, and we'll do what the quarterback wanted us to do. We'll keep it simple.
We're going to simplify.
Man, they didn't block.
No.
Like at any juncture during the game,
No.
special teams didn't block. We saw that
Nope.
twice.
Yep.
They
Two
were
times.
able to block once on special teams. That was while they were rushing, and then couldn't block to cash in points. Like, you're going to allow teams to hang around. You're going to have what happened in London creep up, right? Where
Yep.
a team gets hot for 30 minutes and beats you. That wasn't the case on Sunday, man. They got beat up for 3 hours, and I have not seen that at Lambeau Field in quite some time.
It's been a while. There's no doubt about it. And that's the thing that kind of, I'm not going to say worries you, but that is so kind of disheartening as a Packers fan is
Best word for
that's
it.
supposed to be your, not like, it's nothing's easy in the NFL. I totally get that. But you're supposed to be able to operate your offense at home. Like throughout the history of having Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
The idea of, sometimes on the road, tackle's got to look in. It can be a little tough. But this was supposed to be, okay, we can control things. We do know that they have a very formidable front, which they proved early and often in that game. But you would think you should be able to mitigate it somewhat with your scheme, with your quarterback and his quick release. Amen. None of that. Like, again, and look, I would bemoan the continued desire to throw things down the field, etc. But I'm like, even if they tried the simple stuff, they couldn't block it. Simple stunts seemingly, mystified them. And hey, you coach offensive line. I mean, I can't even imagine what a hellscape that game was to watch either live or on repeat.
Oh, the repeat was even tougher. Like the
Right.
toughest one for me was Nags, and obviously when John Runyon Jr. gets turned around and actually had to watch Rodgers get stripped. Like when your buddy's getting beat up, he's like, look at him, right? And gives him 2 rights to the face. Right. And instead, I thought the worst Runyon play was the one that it would have had to have been a couple of series later. It was after the block punt where it's the stunt when he's there with Bakhtiari and Rankins comes around untouched and just completely obliterates Aaron.
Yep.
And you can see Dave at one point, he's got the defensive end in his chest because he's doing his job. He's not gotten bumped off. Right. And he almost like looks over at Runyon like, what are you doing? Say something.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Give something.
Give a guy a heads up.
Well, and that's where, Nags, that's where the simple part of it and the complexity part of it came for the offensive line. And I thought about this. The simplest thing to do when you're playing offensive line is communicate. You know what the complex part is? Blocking this 350-pound son of a bitch in front of me who's trying to kill me.
Right? That's kill me, decapitate the quarterback.
Kill him, wreck everything we do, take food off my kids' plates. Yeah, that's the complex part. And when you're not communicating on the stunt, it's going to make the complex part of it really freaking hard.
I mean, I'd love to get your take on this because I talked about this yesterday on Daily, and to me, like listening to Aaron after the game talk about, obviously the whole watchword this week is simplicity, right? Simplify, etc. because of what he talked about post game.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know like the guys in the room with Matt on Monday, like they jumped to the motion aspect of it because Aaron said some of the most successful stuff we did on Sunday was without motion, etc. Matt kind of countered that, right, by saying, we didn't run motion the first 3 drives or whatever it was, didn't get a first down. So, the tit for tat on motion, I get, but to me, I didn't read that as Aaron talking about the motion even. When he talked about simplification, my complete gut reaction to that was he's talking about up front.
Yeah.
He's talking about, can we just because there were so many instances where you have a lot, like there's a play where the whole line slides left and Jenkins slides right, and you're just like, there's a gaping hole. And okay, someone didn't get a call.
Yeah,
whether it's Newman supposed to be going tripping on the right, or maybe Jenkins is supposed to go left. I don't know, but it's very clear that there were so many plays where they were not on the same page up front.
And the tough part is, Nags, a lot of times you can tell what you're supposed to do by where your eyes go first, right? Like Royce had one moment where I think it's what you're talking about, where Elton goes man on the backside defensive end, and Newman like looks there first. He's like, "Oh, I think I should probably go over there." No, this guy's closer to me. I'm gonna go and peg this dude, and then boom, stunt comes in, untouched blitzer and rusher.
Death. Just
exactly death. And there were death by 1,000 paper cuts, and then there's death by just
and then there's just
slashing.
like getting absolutely manhandled.
Yeah, and for a large portion of the game, man, it was the latter. I mean, Quinnen Williams, I'll hand raised in air. I did not anticipate he was going to come in and freaking wreck the game like that. I also didn't realize my man had 3 sacks in 5 games, and right now is sitting with 5 and 6. And is going to be in the conversation.
I mean, he's Pro Bowl level at the moment.
Pro Bowl level?
Got to think. Oh, no question. And you got to think he's going to garner some All-Pro votes if he keeps playing like he's playing.
DPOY if he continues at that point for a couple of years.
If the Jets keep winning and the defense is such a problem,
that's how that kind of stuff goes.
I mean, here's the thing.
Early for that, but it's a part of it.
No, 100%. And as I said at the top, I knew this was going to be tough, right? There's no question they have a very formidable front. They've got experience working against this type of defense when they've gone against San Francisco. They know the issues. When Saleh was there, he owned them, comes into Lambeau with the Jets, owns them again. And it's like, at some point, don't you have to think, well, and I heard Matt say, and I think Aaron said it too, like, we tried running early, but we just couldn't get it on track. And we thought, well, we better not stick with the run. Yes, you should stick with the run. Are you crazy? Yeah. No, yes, you should definitely drop back and try and get deep developing routes working against this front you can't block. Like, what? Am I taking crazy pills?
And I was wondering when we're going to stop throwing the ball at Sauce Gardner. But luckily,
let's. I know he's a rookie, but he's pretty damn talented.
Yeah,
pretty damn good.
Kind of hasn't given up a touchdown since high school for a reason.
Oh my gosh.
The other part of it was Nags, and I got some pushback when I put it out right after the game, where I said, signature win, Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas. And people are like, Homer, of course it's a signature win because they beat the Packers. Well, no, think about it here for the institution. Think about it here for the program.
They are considering this a signature win. Trust me.
And Negs, guess what? You were there last year when they went and got their asses kicked up at Lambeau for those joint practices.
Correct.
And there's a large amount of players on that team that were up here and watched last year and said, dude, we got a ways to go. And then this year going into it, you better believe that Saleh said, they're 3-2, we're 3-2. They believe that you're going to be the team that came in here last year.
They
got
think
pushed.
This is homecoming.
Yeah,
for sure. They even wore the throwbacks. The Packers schedule those throwbacks for games they expect their team to win.
And
I'm Saleh. I'm
Washington and New York.
Thank you. They think this is homecoming.
Yep. Good way to put it. Yep.
That is 100%. If I'm Saleh, I'm sure. I don't know if he said that specifically, but I'm sure he played into that aspect of it.
1,000%. The way that guy, the juice that dude brings, and the style that the deep water. Let's bring him on into the deep water.
Quote. What a great quote. I will say, like, the all gas, no break has been passed around from like coach to coach. Like, I've heard that lots of times. And I think Matt got that from Saleh. So like, that's a phrase I've heard many times. The deep water thing, hadn't heard that one yet.
Yeah.
And that got me good. That got me good.
I thought it would have been something like my guy Dan Campbell would be like, man, we're going to bring these guys in, man, to the deep water, man, of Detroit, Michigan, man. Let's be honest, man. We don't have a whole lot, man. We're too close to Flint, so we're not going to be able to, man. This is going to be a tough battle, man. But, Saleh's
I love how Dan Campbell sounds like erstwhile.
A little bit like Chris Farley.
Little Chris Farley action there. That's good.
Well, I'm a fat guy from Wisconsin.
I like it. No, I'm in. I'm all in.
Like Farley.
But
there's something to that, man. Like Saleh in that group, that organization, had this one penciled for a while, circled that this can be a proving game to where we gotta be at.
The LaFleur brother connection. I mean,
that's true.
Matt's got to be sick of losing to his little brother. I mean, whether it's in San Francisco or against the Jets at home. I mean, I will say the family photo before the game was lovely.
It was nice. I want to know where the family went and stayed after the game.
I know, right?
They were staying at Matt's. I don't think they probably wanted to go there after the game.
I'm sure they got on the plane and get the hell out of town. But look, what do we think heading into this game against Washington? Because 100%, and I know there were so many problems in that game, from special teams to the defense at the end, etc. But that's a burn the tape game in my mind. That's a game where it's look, we just got manhandled up front, and there's not much you can do other than, okay, the plan has to be better, clearly. And obviously, the number one thing that needs to improve is the execution of whatever plan you come up with. You got to execute better. I can't even begin to talk about the number of times you saw watching it back. Okay, I get what you're trying to do here, but at least one, if not two, sometimes three guys are either losing their battle or have a mental mistake. Where it's that you can't survive that. You can't. Aaron Rodgers could have papered over that when he was a younger quarterback, when he was a younger superstar, right? He's not that guy anymore.
No, and he doesn't have those guys around him, Nags, to take advantage of when it goes haywire that way.
Especially when you lose Randall Cobb early in the game, his one real security blanket when he's on scramble drill or whatever. It was tough sledding there.
I think there's some of that where there was a point in the game, I think, where you could look at Aaron and say he's looking into at himself and being like, this is a game 3, 4, 5 years ago, hell, probably last year, maybe, that I just will us to win. Right. And I think he's looking around saying, I'm going to have to find out what that looks like this year trying to will somebody to win.
Really glad you brought that specific thing up, because it's he can't anymore. Not with this crew. That can't be his game. That can't be the Packers game. He has to lean into the structure of whatever play, whether it's, okay, first, second read covered, okay, hit the check down. It's got to be 1, 2, out. 1, 2, out. Again this week. Washington's no joke.
No, they got a good front, man.
They can get after it.
They don't have Chase Young, but they still got Jonathan Allen up there, who's got the middle face bar that he's a scary son of a bitch when he's got the middle right. bar up the middle. Dude, they're going to be good, and they're going to do what they did to you last year, which was put pressure on him and hit him a bunch of different times.
100%. So if I'm Matt LaFleur, there's two things. Okay, one, Rodgers has to play in structure. There are times last week, I get it. There's instant pressure. You got to get out. 100%. I get that. But the thing that can help you as a quarterback is to play within the structure. And I don't care if it's 3rd and 8, right? And you got to check it down. Rather than sit back there and take a hit or, risk a fumble, etc., just play in rhythm.
Just go to structure. Your pace.
And I know it can be frustrating. I know it's probably not what Rodgers wants to do. He's always looking deep, etc., blah, 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 holding the ball. Because here's the thing. There's a play in particular on a 3rd down where he hits Romeo Doubs on a shallow cross, right? It's 3rd.
Oh, that's the big, strong hands catch, right?
No, well, there's 2 of them. But the one
okay.
I'm thinking of, he's going right to left. And if you look at it on the All-22, Rodgers hits the top of his drop. And he's talked about this all the time. Matt has talked about this a lot. Hit the top of your drop. The drop is supposed to marry to the routes, right? And this whole concept is we're going to take them deep, and we're going to run underneath, and if he throws it to Doubs as he hits the top of his drop, Doubs has a chance to get a first down. I'm not saying he would have absolutely picked it up, but he has a chance. It's 3rd and 5, right? But because Aaron hits the top of his drop, and there's a little pressure on him, I'm not discounting that, but there's a decent pocket. He's still looking deep. He's still looking to hit the big one.
Oh, yeah.
And because of that, Doubs keeps going. Rodgers, then the pocket is in on him. He steps up, and then he tosses it to Doubs. But because of that, because now he's waited, Doubs is easily tackled short of the sticks. And it's it's one play, but it's to me, very indicative of what I'm talking about, playing within the structure of the offense. If he just hits Doubs at the top of his drop, they've got a chance. But because he waits and he's trying to make something happen downfield, the play is dead. And that's the razor thin margin with these guys, with this offense, that I think he's got to operate on.
because a lot of times he's got guys that can, even if he's late, will break the one tackle, still pick up the first down, and you live to
They've got a
fight another day.
chance.
You're
You've
right.
got a
Yep.
chance.
You got another chance. I will say though, with the Romeo Doubs front, I know there's certain cats that are still, believing that he doesn't trust Dobbs, or that he doesn't want to trust Dobbs. Or
I don't think that's true at all.
Dude, I don't think that's true at
I don't
all.
buy
there
that
were
at
there
all.
were moments, Nags, if you go and chart when he's getting those targets in the second quarter, dude, game's on the line. I mean, nobody's moved the ball. He threw it to him like 4 out of 5 times at one point. Try to get him going. I mean,
and I think there are other times too, if you watch the All-22, where Dobbs is open and Rodgers is looking for him, but he's running for his life, or the guy
can't get it
lap,
there.
Again, and I said this on Gut Reactions, I don't take anything away from Rodgers in that game because of the fact that he is under siege and he has a busted up thumb and he's trying, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much going on that that's a tough road to hoe. But that's why he needs to lean into the structure.
I saw you compare this thumb injury to the one of 2004.
2003. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that's like it's the exact same, but this is what they should do. This is what they should do. The homeboy didn't practice again today. Aaron Rodgers didn't practice on Wednesday.
In the gut.
I'm just saying.
But
run
AJ
the
Dillon,
fucking ball. Run
close
the fucking ball.
Close that thing down.
Let's get some. Can we sign Kevin Barry out of retirement? Can we go U71? Can we do some jumbo? All I'm saying, like, the whole stadium can know we're running. Let's keep running. Let's do it.
I think, man, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'll have the one that's got egg on my face. I still think the monster run packages for Aaron Jones are coming. I mean, they've now shown more and more of them from AJ Dillon.
God, I hope
they
so.
Gotta be coming for Aaron Jones. I mean, I loved how Aaron said it, because he's right. You come into a Packers game, I'm like, I'm gonna stop Aaron Jones before anything else. But
yeah,
dude, they also say the same thing about Christian McCaffrey.
They say that about every superstar. And you know what?
Henry. Yes.
You still give the ball to your superstars. You know why? Because they're superstars.
Yep. Amen. And Christian McCaffrey, there was one time on a drive, I think this past week against the Rams, he touched the ball like 6 out of the 9 plays. All right.
Aaron Jones is sitting there
guess
going,
what? It was probably one of the most successful drives they had the whole time.
Yeah. Because they're a superstar. Because they're the most talented people on your team.
The weird part of it is, Nags, a lot of times when and I think Pat brought this up yesterday while he was talking about it with Rodgers.
Right.
A lot of times when somebody's not getting the ball, it's because they haven't been paid yet. And you're like, all right, we're going to, maybe ease this down, this thing down, right? You already paid him.
Aaron Jones has been paid. He's been paid. And here's the thing. He got paid, and he continued to produce. I mean,
almost better. Yeah.
You always talk about, like, guys shutting it down after they get paid. I mean, should we talk about Devondre Campbell for a moment? Should we talk about Rasul Douglas? Yeah. Even though I think Rasul is being played out of position. I don't think it's entirely on him. But Devondre Campbell got PAID paid and has taken a significant step back.
I'm glad you brought that up. Out of the Quay Walker conversation that I keep getting and the Devondre Campbell, I think the Campbell step back is hurting them far more than whatever Quay Walker has.
$1,000,000,000.
Couple of weeks.
I could not agree more. He's going to not look at an all-pro linebacker, give him this contract, and then have the level of play we have seen through 6 games and expect like anything other than, okay, well, the point blank underline, sentence here is he needs to play significantly better. And the more and more I look at the deep crossing conversation and the handoffs at that point, doesn't that come down to the dude that's communicating the defense? Part of it
has to. I don't know how much. I never played linebacker. I don't know all the intricacies of it. But if you're communicating the defense and he's always the one that says, hey, who's on that guy? Like pointing like, hey, Justin Jefferson's running over here. Somebody should probably have him.
Speaking, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I don't know if you saw this, but on Twitter yesterday, Twitter. Oh, I love Twitter. Yesterday, legit, Zach Jacobson, who writes for Packer Report, had cited some statistics about the Packers and their safeties and the PFF grades and what have you. And it was like how bad the safeties have been in certain situations and or giving up QB rating to like, okay, well, you throw at this guy, whatever, and you get this rating, etc. And some respondent had said, this is a weird question, but could that possibly be because, all these teams are running these deep crossers and the safeties just happen to be the closest to the guy who's catching the football, but it's not their initial responsibility to stop the dude. And Adrian Amos hit like.
Amen, he did. Amen, he did.
I'm just saying,
Sick and tired of hearing it.
This is the thing I talk about when I'm saying, like, look, like, I get the PFF grade thing, and I understand it's a bit of a guidepost, right? It can lead you places.
Yep.
If you watch the tape. And if Eric Stokes is getting beat off the line and allowing a dude to roam free, and then Adrian Amos is on the other side of the field and has to make the tackle after the ball is thrown, that's not on Adrian Amos.
Amen.
Amen,
amen. I know you've been there. You've been to the mothership headquarters there in Cincinnati. I really appreciate the work that they do. I really do. But like you said, it can be a guide. It is not a statement.
It warps public perception in a
dude, it's nuts.
Problematic way.
No doubt. There's so much of it, and the thing that's going to start creeping in though, Nags, is when those grades start getting tossed in on Kai's contract.
Oh, we're all, dude. We are already.
And they say,
there.
"Wait, you're talking?
We are 100% already there."
This JV high school coach in Pennsylvania that graded me up. That's who's negotiating my contract. Come on now, what are we doing here?
But you joke, but that is legit, man. That is very, very legit.
Yep.
This is a true story. This is a true story, if you'll allow me. David Bakhtiari on his rookie deal. Dave and I, we hit it off initially when he was very, very first with the Packers. And, Dave and I literally used to play FIFA together online before the man got engaged.
You whacked his ass too, didn't you?
No, he killed me all the time. The only time I ever came close, I was up 1-0, and then my then wife came in the room and started talking to me, and I'm like, I'm playing FIFA.
I'm busy here, okay?
And then he killed me. But I'll never forget, he was on one of the podcasts I was doing back then. This is like 10 years ago, whatever, 8 years ago, long time ago. But he was on his rookie deal, and so we did the official recording podcast, right? And then we got done, and then he called me back and was like, "Can I talk to you about something?" I was like, "Yeah, man, what's up?" And he said, he was really worried about his negotiations and his contract and like being retained by the Packers because PFF hated him. Like the grading system was awful, like blah, blah, blah. And I just remember that kind of blew my mind back then. I was like, "You're worried about PFF?" And he's like, "Oh, no, dude, it gets cited all the time." And that was years ago. I can only imagine the conversations happening now about PFF grades. Well, but that's my point.
Yeah.
It's like it warps perception.
I knew we had started to go too far down that deep end when Collinsworth got them to start putting it on the scroll when they announced each player on Sunday Night Football.
I hate that so much. Now look, I don't want to turn this into a bash PFF thing because
like Mike Renner I think that cat is fantastic.
They do lots of really good work. To me, where their value lies, and I've talked about this before, is the ability to know how many times did so and so line up in the slot, how many times did they go shotgun run versus like quarterback under center,
yes,
how many times did they play cover 3, blah blah blah. Like factual information, they are fucking amazing. But to your point, you start talking about grades. Who's doing the grading?
Yeah.
What
meeting did you sit in this week?
And it's not like, but that's the other thing. Like I get, and that's their de facto, like they understand, okay, we don't know the call, but dot.
Yeah.
So there's at least a little bit of an acknowledgement, right? But man, come on. I remember Brian Bulaga.
There's something else, man.
Railing against them back in the day because like he was like, Aaron tells me to get beat inside and then I get a negative PFF grade. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and it was like the one clip of Bakhtiari on the Hail Mary, right? Like perfect clip, right? You're supposed to get beat inside. That's the technique. Allow him to roll on out. How can you give up the open gate?
How can you give it up?
-2?
Yeah, right.
God
I love
bless
it.
him.
I love it. So, okay, looking at this Washington game, no doubt about it. A number one. I don't even care. Aaron Jones has to touch the football at least 20 times. If he doesn't, it's derelict of duty for Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers.
And I want to know why we can't get him the ball in the pass game more. I mean, going into the year, I thought it was 50 catches for each of them. I thought that Aaron said
Right?
that we could get to him. He's
1,000%.
averaging under 3 a game.
And
like
they're not
that makes no
they're not even
sense.
looking. Here's okay. I'm glad you reminded me. So you come out, right? First 3 plays of the game, your openers
On your
for the
script.
game against the
Yep.
Jets. You hand off to A.J. Dillon. I'm fine with that. Okay. I think A.J. probably should have cut left, but he cuts right and you get stopped. Okay, so it's 2nd and 9. Now you throw a slant to Alan Lazard, who drops it, and Sauce Gardner's there, blah, blah, blah. So now you're in 3rd down. Aaron Rodgers looks left, doesn't like it, comes back to Tunyon, can't really step into the throw, so that's kind of why it dives on him and blah, blah, blah. Those are your first 3 plays. None of them involve Aaron Jones. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Nags, and I'll say right there, the starters, unless they're on the field at the same time, 33 is on before 28. Not saying anything that I don't like yet or anything else, but get him going first.
Well, especially out of the
gun.
That
train will change it.
Especially out of the gun. That's the other thing. Like
those same side sweeps
if you want
are only working that way.
If you want to feature A.J. Dillon, get under center, button it up, go ace, go 2 tight end, and let him can run between the tackles. I'm down with that. But this out of the gun, we're gonna maybe hand it off. Like what? No.
Rodgers talked about it with different personnel groups that they're seeing when big dogs on the field and A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, and Mercedes Lewis. I'd like to know what the difference is, because to your point, at that spot, then you can line up and have one simple run solution on the other side, one quick backside hitch. That's your RPO that you go to, or it's a power. They got to get Josh Myers moving, man.
I'm so sick of run solutions. Can we no more run solutions? Let's solve the problem instead of having run solutions.
That's you and John Kuhn hating the run solutions.
Does John hate them too? Well, tell John.
To like him all that
tell
much.
John we're on the same page there, because quote run solutions. Just run the damn ball. God,
I think you should put that on a T-shirt.
Oh, I did. That's right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Make sure you get that merch store. Come on, people.
Yeah, come on now, people. All right. Well, Bill, this has been therapeutic as usual. And
yeah, it has been. And Nags, we've kind of tried to get back to the Washington game, but it all just keeps funneling us back to what happened last week. It just shows, man, they got to get a win. You got to get everybody feeling right.
Here's the one place I'm feeling good about in the passing game.
Here we go.
Dobbs against Fuller. If they can get Dobbs on Fuller in this game, that's cooking with gas. Now, part of that is having to block it up front, and I don't feel great about that unless something happens along the front of the offensive line. Now, maybe they make a move there. Who knows? I suspect, if Sunday's game didn't tell you that you had to do something, I don't know what does.
Can I tell you, I think they're going to run the same guys out there.
You know what? It's so funny because I'm like, I was on with Drew and KB yesterday. I'm like, they have to do something, blah, 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 blah. And I legit was coming back from Wisconsin to New York, watching the game again. And I'm like, they're going to do the same thing.
They're going to do the same thing.
They're going to run Newman out there again. Hanson's hurt, and that's their preferred alternative, I guess.
Yeah, because apparently they think Zach Tom's too small.
Why did you draft him?
Or
why did you run him at all these different positions in camp?
Or Sean Ryan. And again,
Sean Ryan can't even get dressed.
He can't even put a helmet on. The tough part about Newman is I don't think they did him any favors, Nags. I don't think they did him any favors.
Because they ran him at tackle,
right tackle and
they
right guard.
Going back and forth all camp. I'm with you.
He wasn't that good at guard last year.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so
totally agree.
I think they're going to give him another chance. People are going to Bucks fans that are Packers and Bucks fans will say like this is George Hill situation. They're going to run that cat out there, and people are going to be pissed.
And they have every right to be. By the way,
and I'm going to have to listen, and I'm going to get to listen to it and calls on
Packers OT, baby. Packers OT.
Woo, woo.
Man, I got to convince the Packers to let Packers OT be podcasted because the fact that you can only hear it live and you cannot get a replay
You can only
of
do
it
it live and live in color.
is criminal. It's criminal. Because there are some cats on those calls, baby. I love it.
Hey,
I love it.
Listen, people can't hear the fact that somebody thought 319 was the snap count. Everybody knows they're just going to snap it on 319.
I mean, fair enough. Fair
I
play.
guess, yeah.
Fair
I
play.
mean, not
Fair
the fact
play.
that the R or the L stands for, right or left, but hey, who cares? Blue 58, green
Details.
19. Nobody
Details,
knows.
man.
Nobody needs to know
Details.
that
No one
nonsense.
cares. No one cares. I love it, Billy. I love it. I always love talking ball with you, man. Okay.
It's so much fun, dude. I appreciate it, man. I missed you this past weekend, dude. If you would have been able to see me walk,
Yeah, you will. Well, you weren't there pregame. What the hell, man? What's up?
your boy
I stopped by the trailer. I saw
I
Josh. I
know,
saw
I
Zabe. I saw
know.
Gilbert Brown. You
Your
were MIA.
Your boy threw his back out, throwing a bag of dog shit out, and barely got into the stadium, bro.
Billy.
It was tough.
Billy, how old are you?
Nags, I'm 28 years old.
You're 28.
Yep,
I'm 49, and I don't have that issue. Come on,
dude. It was a sight to see. Was my ass trying to walk last?
I saw
week.
Drew, your co-host,
Yep.
game,
and he's got that cool
Didn't
little
see you.
pimp limp. But I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even do
so
it.
Right.
Doesn't he though? He's got a
The
cool
fact that
little
you
strut.
called it a pimp limp, I am
He's got
dead.
a little pimp limp
I am
going.
absolutely dead. I am absolutely referencing that Friday on my Drew and KB spot.
I can't wait.
That is phenomenal. That is so good. All right, well, I'll be back. Probably not till December. I'll be back for the Rams game,
Okay.
and I better see you, or there will be hell to pay.
You're damn right. You will.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You will.
Bill, you're an absolute legend.
You're the man, dude.
Beer and
Appreciate it,
ball
buddy.
again next week after hopefully a Packers victory in Washington. But who fucking knows, man? Who knows?
Who knows
We'll
at this
see.
point?
All right. I'll talk to you next week, brother.
Later, dude.